This is not the Democratic Party, by the way. I'm not blaming the blue party for this. The problem is it didn't have to happen. First thing you got to do is clean up. It's been 35 days, man, and nothing has been picked up. If they would clean their forest, rake it up, put the homeowner over the homeless. Sorry, I know that offends people.
And today I have with me someone who really doesn't need an introduction. They call him Uncle G, Uncle Grant, Mr. 10Xer, best-selling author, massive entrepreneur, real estate mogul, unbelievable humanitarian, doing amazing things out in California right now. We're going to have an amazing show. Grant Cardone, welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, Sean, great to be with you, man. Look forward to doing this.
Man, after all these years, man, just, this is just really cool to finally get to meet you and have you on.
Well, yeah, we got to do this in studio one day. So we'll have you over here. We're from the Alligator Alley. See if you can make it all the way to Miami and we'll chop it up together.
Speaking of chop, are you going to send the chopper? I'm teasing. I will make it over there.
Okay.
I will make it. We'll drive.
I mean, I could send it over. I could send it over for you.
That would be nuts.
Yeah.
But no, hey, once again, thanks for coming on the show. You have a lot of crazy things going on right now. Your life has been impacted like so many other Californians out there. I want to start, by really touching into 10X California. I mean, the way California is being governed right now, the city burned down, it's burning down to the ground.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things going on, but outside of just what everybody's seeing, like you've been impacted personally. So I'd love for you to touch on that if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah. So, we have a home in Malibu, and our home, the fires came right up to the house. It definitely damaged the house. There's probably, it's an unbelievable amount of damage there. The structure looks fine from the exterior, but it's all the smoke and soot. We're not so concerned about the damage that we received as much as the people in Malibu, the Palisades, Altadena, and frankly, the people across California. To me, this is a real sign that very radical, liberal, socialist politics has ruined one of the greatest resources this country has. And so the fires were one thing, the house being impacted. I called my kids one morning. I said, hey, there's a good chance the day after the fires, the height of the fires, I said, there's a real good chance we lose the house today. My wife said, oh yeah, we're losing it for sure. I said, I think there's a 75% chance we don't lose it. But she was like, the whole thing's going to go to the ground. We were kind of betting behind the scenes, right? And, while that was terrible and everything, dude, it's just one house, but it's my 18 neighbors that burnt to the ground to the west of me. We live on the coast on a beach called Carbon Beach. And then to the east of me, which really looks like south and north to most people, but just to my left, there's probably 60 homes, one after the other burned down. And this did not have to happen, okay? Now, I know fires are very normal in California. You have them every year. You have the Santa Anas. You have very low humidity, which makes for a fire. And the problem is it didn't have to happen because if they would clean their forests, if they had their priorities right, clean their forests, rake it up, put people over rodents, put the homeowner over the homeless. Sorry, I know that offends people, but right now...
That's great. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, what you have right now is people that have been paying property taxes for years, making, commitments to 30-year mortgages, paying taxes to the city and the state that are now homeless, while people that have never paid anything have shelter. And you have like crazy things, bro. Like they're trying to save brush. The environmentalists say, we got to save this brush. It's very important to the environment. Guess what? The fire does not know about your initiatives or your weird freak agendas. And unfortunately now...
So I grew up in California.
Yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, so there's 18,000 families now without a home, without a place to bring their kids to go to school. You probably have somewhere between $500 and $700 billion worth of damage. This did not have to happen, okay? And that's what I want the American people to know, and people in California. This is not the Democratic Party, by the way. I'm not blaming the blue party for this. I am blaming radical, over-the-top, liberal, crazy socialist agendas that have gone way beyond what the Democrat Party stands for.
I agree with you, and thank you for that. Thank you for painting that picture, because I grew up in California and I know what a beautiful resource, beautiful state it is. From the time I was born to the time I, went and played college baseball, I lived in California, the San Francisco Bay specifically. Loved it. You couldn't pay me enough money to go back there and live now is the way it's being governed, right? And the one thing that I did here, and I don't know if you can confirm it or not, but you're talking about this brush, all right? I heard, because the big thing was there's no water in the fire hydrants, right? How in the hell does that happen? It's on the Pacific. Like, there's enough water in California. But what I did hear is that they were going through and they were going to do all the piping and like really fix the infrastructure underneath to make sure all the water could flow through the fire hydrants. And they found these plants that were, endangered, and they stopped the project because they couldn't touch those plants. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it kind of sounds like it's in line.
Bro, look, none of that even matters at this point. What matters when you have a situation like this, what you do is you're like, okay, what caused it doesn't matter. We got to fix it now, and then go back and look at what caused it. Now, what'll happen when you have an emergency? This is why leadership is so important in politics. You need business people, entrepreneurs, problem solvers, people that can think critically and prioritize. When you have an emergency like this, the priorities go into place. Like, forget the politics. None of that matters. Who did it? Who done it? What happened? Not all that's later. Now it's, okay, clean up. First thing you got to do is clean up. It's been 35 days, man, and nothing has been picked up. Not one thing. So if they forced a cleanup, like Trump went there, if Trump said, hey, I'll give you federal money, you need to clean up now. I want it gone. What's going to happen is the freak groups are going to come in. Oh, the environment, the people are unsafe. They're already doing this right now. You can't go back to your home, Mr. Cardone, because if you pick up stuff, you might get toxins. Bruh, the toxins have been released on 40 million people already. Stop it. This is fucking nonsense, okay? The toxins are out. That's not the priority now. The priority is the cleanup. Now, the fringe groups are going to say, yeah, but the cleanup's going to stir up the toxins. The toxins are already in the air. They're on the beach.
They've already been released in the atmosphere.
But they're there. Clean up, pick up, move, okay? Now, there's out of those 18,000 homes, Sean, there's probably, I'll bet you there's 9,000 or 10,000 property owners that'll be like, I'll clean up my own shit today. Just let me on my property. I'll rent the truck. I'll pay for the truck. I'll move it. I'll get in a hazmat suit or not. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just like clean it up, and I'll start moving stuff to the design place to go bury these materials. So that would be the first thing that would happen. If I was in charge, it'd be like, move it now. And I don't want to hear one fucking reason why not to. Number two, the rebuild should be taking place while we're doing that so that people could be permitted immediately via AI and kiosk machines, not people. See, what California does, and a lot of states have adopted this, particularly blue states, where they're trying to protect the renter or they're trying to protect home prices. All these places that try to protect, actually home prices go up. California has 10 of the top 15 most expensive homes in the country. Home markets in the country are in California, where they tried to supposedly protect owners with regulations. There's 19 permits required to build a home in California today. You'd have to go to 19 different departments. So I would collapse that and say, no, here's 4 things you need to build a new home with. If the structure, the platform wasn't damaged, you can build what you had there plus 10%, maybe even 15%. You can build that. We'll approve it as long as you use fire retardant roof. Same thing on siding. No exposed timber. Nothing the elements can actually light up, and you self-irrigate. Means every home would become a fire department, basically. The technology exists.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah, exactly. And you would go to a kiosk machine and you'd be approved to permit, to build, to start, and we could rebuild the Palisades, Altadena, and Malibu in the next 12 months. And people that say that that's impossible are the ones that are in the way. It is possible. It's being done on this planet right now. Like Dubai's being built in 7 months now. They can take from start to finish and complete a building.
And their builds are elaborate. They're not just homes. They're elaborate. Yeah. They're elaborate fucking builds in Dubai. Yeah. Let's be honest, right? It's and I noticed too, you're doing a lot of everything you're touching on, you actually have a plan to help fund this, right? You're literally helping via donations and crowdsourcing to get these people aid to rebuild their homes in 12 months. And you're holding 26 rallies out there to help out. They're all free.
Yeah.
They're all free that they can go and they can participate.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that for the people in California?
Yeah. So I'm traveling up and down the state, trying to get people energized to say, hey, enough is enough, man. Stop this madness. We need to take care of homeless people. I get it. But right now we need to take care of the homeowners. Okay, this is insanity, bro. They spent $38 billion on homelessness to have more homelessness. The thing I'm trying to do in the state right now is move up and down the state and come up with 3 or 4 things that can be done immediately. I've given you 3 of them already that would put the groups that are in the way on the heater. Okay, because anybody that wants to stop this would say, no, you can't clean up yet. They would come out right away because of the initiative. This always happens in a family. If you have a family, maybe you were doing Thanksgiving and you had a family and there was a fire in the kitchen or something. The psychos never get anything done. They're in the way. Oh my God, what do we do? What do we do? They're fucking, oh my God. Like
frantic as shit.
The cat.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to get my homework. Oh, I forgot my picture. Bruh, the damn kitchen's on fire. First, you put the fire out. First, you put the fire out. You don't worry about your sweet potatoes that are going to get burnt. The emergency creates an opportunity to see where the insanity is and where the sanity is. Mm-hmm. So when I saw the fires, I'm like, oh, I'm going to bring my sanity to California. The first thing to do is to see if people even want change. Because if you guys want the place to burn down, fuck it, I'm leaving. Burn it down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a shame because it's the greatest resource this country has is the state of California. As a state, there is nothing more valuable financially, the resources it produces, the technology and innovation that's come out of California. I mean, you got 4 companies over there worth $15 trillion that could easily solve this problem of irrigation and getting water to homes, et cetera. So we're just going there trying to light people up, get them excited, get them focused, see if we can put people together. One initiative was to try to recall Newsom and Karen Bass. I don't think that that's as important right now, personally, as it is to simply start registering people that are no longer happy as Republican voters. Not that they're Republicans any more than Democrats are Democrats. Let's face it, man. When shit hits the fan, nobody cares about how you vote. But if we could get enough people that are unhappy to register red today, right now this morning, costs nothing to do it, and send that to Sacramento, Sacramento would get a message, they're serious this time. We need to do something. The people aren't happy. And at this point, they would then say, Coastal Commission, stand down for the next 18 months. Or they wouldn't, because they probably can't. You see what I'm saying? It's like a Doge effort on California where all of a sudden the transparency pops off and you see who's in the way. You see who's the psychos, the insane, and you see where the sanity is. And hopefully California will stand up and vote out the insanity.
I hope so too, because it's hard to watch. And I think the biggest thing for me is that when I look from afar, I always think about children. I think about families. I think about how these people are not just displaced, but they've lost their whole lives, with the exception of their hearts still beating, right? And maybe some people did lose their lives. Like going back and being in California, have you been able to have a pulse on how these people are feeling emotionally and how they're dealing with it?
Dude, it's awful, right? Like, we're always talking about the down and out in the society and the people, the drug addict. You got more drug addiction in California than you have anywhere. On the streets, you can access drugs on the streets today. The homeless problems. There's all these problems that are obvious in the state of California. And then there's the not obvious. I've been talking about this for 10 years now. The middle class is the not obvious suffering class in this country today. You have people in the Palisades and Altadena and Malibu. I know nobody feels sorry for him because the guy had a $5 million house, but people don't understand how he got the $5 million house. His grandmother bought that house, was lucky enough to buy the house or be given it by her husband or whatever, 45 years ago for $40,000. And that house is worth $5 million today. Not because she did anything. In fact, she couldn't even buy her own house. Well, her house was burnt down. She has no place to go.
Oh, fuck that.
She has no restaurant. She doesn't have the money to stay in a hotel, okay? The government's not there to help her right now. The state's broke. The state's going to be like, okay, we're going to get you back in, grandma, as soon as we can. What are you talking about? It's going to be 18 months right now for a cleanup. It'll be 5 years for a build out. She's 84 today. She won't get back into her new home until she's 90 years old. This was supposed to be her golden years.
That's sad. And that's for the audience listening and watching. That's what I want you to tune into. There's a real problem in California.
Yeah.
And this is the problem, right? The fire, yes, absolutely. But it's the thereafter. So if you're in California and you heard Grant say, if you can just register red, Sacramento, enough of you do it, Sacramento is going to get that tip off. Be like, okay, these people are pissed, right? And again, Grant, it's not about, red or blue, right? We know that, but it's about making a change and making a difference. And right now, there needs to be some extreme effort out there to help these damn people.
Yeah.
I mean, that grandma's never getting back into her home.
Yeah.
Granted, she may live to 90, hopefully, and get back there. But what if she doesn't, man?
Bro, but here's the problem, right? Even if she goes back there when she's 90, if it rebuilds, if she has the money, none of which she does, by the way. Because you got to remember, right? Let's say it takes $5 million to rebuild the house. She only had $3 million of coverage. If she had $3 million, she might have only had a couple $100,000 of coverage because she only had 40 grand in a home from 45 years ago.
Yeah.
So this is some people believe this is a land grab. Okay. Meaning the government has so many restrictions and regulations on the people that people can't actually go back and claim their property because their property has become a liability. Let me give you another example. Okay. Let's say it's a young executive, a couple, they're middle class. They make $350,000 to $400,000 a year. Husband and wife both work. They got both their kids in a private school or a nice public school, 2 cars. They had a mortgage in the Palisades. They've done really well in life. They are fully in the middle class. Okay. They might make $800,000 a year, by the way. They could make $1.5 million and still be in the middle class.
That's wild.
Okay. They have a $7 million mortgage on their home. Okay. And they're paying, whatever, that's going to be $40,000 a month. They can afford it on his salary, and her additional salary is how they live. They got a great life. Nobody feels sorry for these people. Well, their home, let's say it was worth $7 million, has $5 million worth of insurance on it. That's all the state would allow because the state 2 years ago got involved in regulating the insurance companies. Ladies and gentlemen, anytime the government regulates, you get hurt. They always do it under the pretense, we want to protect the people. What you did was you got involved in business when you shouldn't have, and Allstate, State Farm, and the big Nationside, they all pulled out because the state said you can't raise the premium. They said if we can't raise the premium, we can't afford to be in the state, so they left. Hundreds of thousands of homes are not insured right now. I happen to be one of the lucky ones, and I have this huge insurance policy on my house, but all my neighbors, my 18 neighbors in a row, none of them have more than $3 million worth of insurance. Okay, so let's go back to that couple in the Palisades that had a $7 million mortgage. They owe $7 million. Their payments are still due, and their house is burnt to the ground. They only have $3 million worth of insurance. So what do? You're like, okay, they're going to get their $3 million. They have no place to live, by the way. Okay, right. The $3 million is going to pay for where they're living for the next 5 or 6 or 7 years. Now they're out of money. How do they rebuild their home? They have no money to rebuild their home.
They have no money to rebuild that thing.
So the middle class now becomes the lower class, even though the guy's making $800,000 a year. I know that's hard to believe, and it's very hard for everybody to embrace because we're constantly talking in this country about the lowest of the lowest, the very beginning where you had nothing, but there's a big fat middle class in America, 250 million strong, that are weak. And this is what I'm most concerned about. California could actually roll over economically because so many people have been affected by this fire, including the executives that live across the street in Brentwood, just a couple miles away, and their house wasn't burned. But guess what?
Right.
The insurance companies don't want to insure their house anymore either. So how do you get a mortgage? How do you sell your home? What happens for the next 5 years? Because they're saying it's going to take 5 to 7, maybe 10 years to rebuild. Who wants to live in that bullshit for 10 years? And what happens when more and more people start leaving and saying, I'm going to go live in Scottsdale. I'm going to go live in Utah. I'm going to go live in Texas. I'm going to go live in Florida. That's already been happening. So then
Oh, of course.
then it starts to accelerate the problem. So I'm really concerned, not just for California, all the people that have been affected, but also by for the rest of the country that could be impacted by this economic devastation.
It's wild, man. And I always think, like, when did this start? You know what I mean? Like, when did this start becoming a problem? Right. Because, like you said, a couple of years ago, insurance companies are backing out. Right. And to your point, also, it's like, many people think it's a land grab. It's like, pretty fucking strategic. Right. And I'm not implying anything, but maybe I am. But the bottom line is, now people don't have insurance. They don't have a place to live, and they don't have the money nor the time to rebuild.
Yeah, exactly. When did it start? Dude, California has been an organized mafia for 80 years. There's 4 families that have controlled the state of California, except for 2 short instances. Newsom's been in there for 16 years. Okay, before it was the Pelosi family before her, it was the Gettys before her. This thing has been under control. This is the 5th largest economy on planet Earth. Okay, it's a couple $1 trillion a year in revenue. It's massive. Is bigger than India's bigger than California and then California. So it's a massive, massive population, right? 2/3 of all your produce come from the state of California. 99% of all commercial products, vegetable and fruit products, are produced in California. We got plenty of water, bro. Like you said earlier, you can't find one golf course anywhere in the state of California that's ever burnt. So this idea that, like, oh my God, the fires are out of control. The fucking fires ain't out of control. Go to Pelican Hill and play a round of golf. Go up to the Pacific, up to the north. What's that beautiful golf course up north?
Carmel?
Yeah, up in Carmel. Okay, all those golf courses, they're protected. Why? They're irrigated. You could have irrigation across the entire state of California if you wanted to. That's how much water we have. The land grab thing is not out of context for me. Okay,
I agree.
Where I live, if you've ever been to Malibu, you ever been to Nobu?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you go down that coastline and you hear about Malibu. The first time you went there, you're probably like, dude, this looks like a shithole. Bunch of old homes stacked on top of each other. Most of those homes aren't big, brand new concrete block. My house is made of concrete block. It was built 14 years ago. It was built to spec, probably better than that. Okay, all concrete. You can't burn it. And like, no amount of fire is going to take it down. It won't take the bottom of it out, right? But all the homes that are on that coastline, the Coastal Commission, because they overregulate, they hide behind whales and seagulls and say, you can't develop, you're gonna change the coastline. Hey, guess what? Mother Nature just changed the coastline forever.
Sure did.
Now, I don't know if that's their intention, because if you kind of, connect the dots, most of the people that live on that beach, that's called Billionaire Beach. Most of them are not billionaires, and most of them will not rebuild. So you're going to end up with 4 or 5 families. I'll be one of them, by the way. I'm one of the blessed ones. You're going to have 4 or 5 or 6 families that own the entire beach. And maybe the state walks in and says, hey, we'd like to just buy you guys out. Make it a public beach now for everybody with no homes. Property seizure, man. Make it impossible for people to own anything. New World Order. Yeah. You will own nothing and you will be happy about it.
It's starting to all make sense, and it's starting to unfold underneath all of our noses. I mean, to be quite honest, right? Everybody can deny it, and you can look at it and you can try to, turn a blind eye to it. But I mean, if you open your eyes, I mean, shit, there could be arguments made.
Yeah. Online voter registration, California. If you guys go online, register to vote in California. By the way, some people say you can live anywhere you want to. All you need is an address now, and you can vote in California. Like, you just need an address. No voter IDs allowed in California. So you're in Naples. You got a buddy that lives in California.
I can vote in Cali.
You could at least register.
Look at that, man.
If 1 million people registered as red voters today, Sacramento, Pelosi will be the first one to see it while she's laying on her side, her broken hip. And she'll be like, uh-oh, they're pissed off now.
You're wild, man. You're wild. Dude, that's all interesting stuff. I want to shift gears real quick. All right. Brother, you have put together a series of conferences that have been the most massive fucking thing on the planet.
Yeah.
and the last one's coming up, bro. And
Last
you
one.
just released, dude, the last one. Damn
It's
it.
the last
I haven't even made it to
time.
one yet. I haven't even made it to one yet. I might have to go to this
Oh,
one.
dude, you got to go, bro.
So-
you got to go. Just do
Okay.
yourself a big favor and go. I put on the best show in the world. Like, I know I'm a big promotional guy and I promote all the stuff that I do, but I'm telling you, these shows that I do, how do you sell a show and nobody knows who's coming? Like, one of the things I'm most proud about,
dude, that's some wild shit. Well, I mean, dude, that right there, brother, like that's some fucking Houdini shit, man. But if you look now, you go back to past speakers, right? You got Tom Brady, Wyclef. I mean, Alex Rodriguez. I mean, just Trump, name it. Like, you're going to trust that someone dope's going to be there and you're going to go.
It
right?
is the ultimate flex. The ultimate flex is I'm doing a conference. 30% of our tickets were sold without a date or a location. That's a flex.
Wild.
Okay.
Fucking
Like I
wild,
do
man.
a lot of bullshit because I, as a privately held business owner, like I like to do stuff that I personally have as my little personal flex. Like one of my flexes is to sell an event out without an agenda of speakers. And
wild.
And people come there and they're like, "Can I see the schedule?" No. There's 3 people that have the schedule. Nobody else has it. Like nobody knows anything. I know what's going to go on, which requires a tremendous amount of trust. And for a guy, for a guy that's been hated on the internet, I love my haters, by the way. I can't thank you guys.
You get fucking torched, bro.
For a guy that gets hated this as much as people hate on me, and I'm just trying to help people, by the way, it's crazy that for all that hate, which is nothing compared to the amount of trust that people give me, because they come to these conferences not knowing who's going to be there. And we have never literally the response from our audience is, man, you over deliver every time. Oh my God. I got people that have been to 9 of them. And they're like, every one has been better than the one that preceded it. And the prices have gone up. The prices are stupid, completely ridiculous. I confess, over the top, too much, expensive, but they're still cheaper than what I'm paying, okay? A $30,000 seat is still cheaper than the $10 million I paid to put the event on.
You spend $10 million putting on that event.
Every one of those events has cost me somewhere between $6 and $14 million. This was going to cost about 10.
See, that's the interesting thing, right? Because when people lack perspective, they can make a lackluster opinion. $30,000 for a seat. What the fuck? This dude's putting $10 million on the line.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, it's going to be $30,000.
There's only a couple people that pay $30,000, but those are some select seats in the room. But most of those seats are going to be, I think there's a seat right now you can buy for $1,000 or $1,500 or something.
There's $997 for one.
Yeah. So that's an executive seat. It's a great seat, by the way. Every seat in the house is great. There's 6,000 people will be there. This is going to be over the top this year. I just confirmed 3 more speakers yesterday that I was adding. Jared's like, it's too many now, bro. I said, nah, don't worry about it, bro. It's going to be fine. Like, everybody's going to forgive us. It's going to be fantastic.
Everything's going to be okay.
Yeah. So I hope you come. I hope you and your fans and your followers come. I'd love to have you there.
I think we're going to probably make that happen. I'm excited about it. Your musical lineup you did release, though.
Yeah.
Share with the audience the musical lineup.
We got Rick Ross.
Fat Joe.
We got Rick Ross entertaining us one night. Fat Joe's going to do the registration. Wyclef is coming back. I had a blast with Wyclef at a party once, and me and him became kind of friendly. And then we'll have some other people that probably stop in and chop the place up.
My boy's leaving cliffhangers. I like that.
Dude,
maybe somebody else. Maybe.
Look, I was doing an event once. I was in Vegas. I think it was when I had Kevin Hart there. And one of my staff comes to me, Dana White's here, and he wants to talk to you. I said, fucking let him in. So Dana comes in. He's like, hey, Grant, look, I just wanted to come by and see what you're doing. I live here, and I heard you had this event going on. This was at Mandalay Bay, and it was, I don't know, there had to be 12,000 people there. He's like, you mind if I go in there and look? I heard people are paying $20,000 to sit in the room on a weekend for 3 days. How do you do that? And so I brought Dana in, then I had him on stage. I ended up doing an interview with him, like improv. Floyd Mayweather, the same weekend, Floyd Mayweather came by. I didn't even have him on the schedule. Hey, I'm in town. I just left the strip joint.
Come on in. Come on in.
Wash your hands and come on in.
Wash your hands. Yes. Wipe your feet too, bro. Wipe your feet.
Exactly.
What's been other than the flex of obviously putting 6,000 people in a room and selling an event out that you don't even give an agenda or the guests, what has been the most satisfying thing from a humanitarian standpoint for you with those events?
Those events are really the 10X Growth Conference. I'll miss not doing them because it was the reason we started doing those events was not money. If you're trying to make money, you don't do events. Events are a terrible business.
Right.
Anybody's ever done an event, tried to do an event, you try to put 300 people in a room. Try to get 50 people over to your house for a party. They're expensive. People don't show up. They wreck the place. Like, I mean, if it's a good party, they're going to something's going to be damaged if you don't go to jail. I mean, you couldn't even go to jail if it's a good party.
Some holes in the wall.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so the thing that I think I'm most proud about in those events is the interviews. And the interviews basically are me. And I don't like doing interviews, actually. Well, I don't mind being interviewed. I hate doing your part.
I mean, dude, I'll do your part if you want me to.
I don't know if you could, I don't know.
Oh, come on. Don't give me a challenge.
Okay.
He's calling me out, y'all. He's calling me out.
To be able to get a good conversation, let's say Usher. I don't have anything in common with Usher. Okay, I'm a business guy. Right. I'm a real estate guy. I'm about money and stuff. And Usher's an entertainer. He's been on, 40 or 50,000 stages without exaggeration. He's not going to even remember the event. So my goal is to get him to remember this event as one of his standout moments in his lifetime. Or John Travolta, okay? How many people you think John Travolta's met in his life?
I'll do that a lot. That was a big one.
Yeah, or Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather has been on stages everywhere in the world. How can I bring Floyd on a stage that's so memorable for Floyd? I'm not even thinking about the audience. I'm thinking about Floyd Mayweather. I'm thinking about John. I'm thinking about Kevin Hart. I'm thinking about how do I get Arnold Schwarzenegger to have a moment where he's like, hey, that guy Grant Cardone was amazing. And not because I'm amazing, but because the communication, the interaction that he and I had. It wasn't just me reading off of cards and getting through the interview, So
yeah,
that's a trick, right? And then those things live into time for long periods of time. I'm trying to get something out of this guy that nobody's gotten out of him that'll help some kid I hadn't met yet. Or maybe some 55-year-old person that gets inspired by this interview. Because all this stuff can live long into the future.
I love that because when you're having that energetic conversation and it's authentic, there's no note cards and it's just you and the interviewee. There's a whole audience, whether they're in person or right now listening to this show, that people are going to be impacted.
Yeah.
That's the exact same thing that I go for. I want to bring out different things in the individuals I interview because everybody can go and look at your bio, man.
Yeah.
Anybody can go look at that.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
that's not the stuff. That's not the stuff. It's what you're doing from a human standpoint is what's interesting. Right?
And you do.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, you do a good interview. I'm sure people are going to talk about it down in the comments. Go ahead and rate Sean. Go ahead and rate this interview right now. Should he get a 10 or should he get a 1?
Oh my gosh, a 1. That's aggressive. Hopefully not a 1.
No, you got to be
teeter toward the 7, 8, or 9.
Just showing up gets you a 1.
I know, right? You don't even have to have shoes on to get a 1. That's easy. That's easy, man. No, I'm excited. The team and I are definitely talking about GrowthCon for sure. I've been talking to Gila about it as well.
Okay.
So it's definitely on the horizon. That's in Vegas, right? It's gonna be in Vegas again.
Yeah. Last one we wanted to have in Vegas. I promise you're gonna walk in the room. You'll get your money's worth the first 10 minutes you're there.
I bet.
You'll walk in. You're gonna look around. You're gonna look around, and you're gonna have some big realization in the first 10 minutes without anybody doing anything.
That's a good challenge, man. I'll take that promise. April, right?
No, March 19, 2021.
Coming up, man.
Yep, right around the corner.
You better hold some spots.
Well, I'm not holding spots for anybody. We oversell this thing every single time. We'll end up with a seating problem that I have to solve. So
that's good. No, I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. is something that's been on my radar for quite some time. And you're shifting to WealthCon, right? You're shifting to do something else in place of this.
We've been doing 2 wealth conferences a year. These are much smaller events, like 300 to 500 people, focused on everything from financial literacy to financial wealth building. And we bring finance people from Wall Street. You're starting to see my audience mature a bit, okay? Not the audience,
Yeah,
but
I
the
see
material,
that.
the content. So you're seeing me in real time make my shift from sales guy, marketer guy, real estate guy to something else. And for
That's
me to
good.
make that
Yeah,
shift, I have to have a different interview.
that's good.
Yeah.
Now you've had 2 already.
Yeah.
Okay. When's the next one?
Probably April, May. Yeah.
Okay.
And this will be,
And you
it'll be
typically
down
have those here in Florida. Do you have them in Florida
Yeah.
on campus or?
Yeah. Yeah. And what I do is I bring people in to talk about, like I was just at Cantor Fitzgerald. That's Howard Lutkin's, that's the Commerce Secretary now. His company, they've done, I don't know, hundreds of billions of dollars in real estate transactions. So I'll start bringing those guys in from Wall Street and big banks to talk about hacks, little fissures and opportunities in the marketplace. Like most of all these conferences, basically I interview people that I'm interested in.
It makes for a good interview though, right? And you're able to give the audience and the people in attendance much more value if you're interested in that person,
Yeah.
right?
I interviewed people that managed the 2008 global crisis. How do you go through a $5 or $6 or $700 billion, almost $1 trillion of money was transferred? And how do you manage that activity when you're interviewing that person? Me sitting down and having coffee with that guy is one thing. Me interviewing and going behind the scenes and getting information from him, by the way, that's probably not in a book is really good for me and great for the audience.
What was the feedback on that, just from your perspective on hearing how they manage that?
It's about competence. It's about critical thinking. It's about what's most important right now. Not all things are the same. How do you manage priorities? What's your priority intelligence like, not your IQ? Elon is a very high IQ, but he's also extremely high on priorities. It's not, all problems are not equal, ever. Life can sometimes appear to be just overwhelming, like overwhelming number of problems, but really there's only 1 or 2 problems. Handle those 2 and the rest take care of themselves.
That's good.
Yeah.
And it's so damn true, right? It usually stems from either a relationship or financial, right? Or what are your thoughts?
Like right now in my life, yeah, it would be a financial thing. I got to solve this one financial thing and the rest of it starts kind of, if I do it in the right priority, there's always a solution. To every problem, there's a solution. There just happens to be a better solution. The issue is whether you're handling the right problem or not. And typically managers, mid-level managers, or even business owners simply don't handle the right first problem.
But my question, I want to go back to that. Like when you're talking about, high level executives or just human beings in general, pinpointing that actual problem of what truly is the most important at that moment. A lot of people misland on that, right? How do you determine what is the actual problem that needs to be addressed immediately?
Well, number one, I know that all problems are not equal. So that's the first thing to know. Any more than all data is not equal. And as much as you guys want to believe the Constitution that all men were created equal, that's not true either. It's bullshit. Okay, all men were not created equal. I'm not equal to you. You're not equal to me. We weren't created equal. We were created at different times, happened at different times. You came out bigger than I did. Like, whatever, bro. Like, my wife, me and my wife are not equal. Me and my child are not equal. And it doesn't mean I'm better than you. It might mean that I'm lesser than you. I don't know. It just depends. I'm not equal to Elon Musk. I'm not equal to Donald Trump. I'm trying to cover everybody right now. But so number one, all problems are not created equal. So I have one problem in my life right now. You guys can guess what it is. And I need to solve that one problem. It would provide that one problem. If I solved it, would provide me with tremendous amounts of space in my creative. When people get blocked up, it's probably because they have a problem they haven't solved or addressed or observed or looked at or confronted. And when I was 25 years old, it was a drug problem. I had a drug problem from 15 to 25, I had a drug problem. And so no matter what problem I handled, I wrecked the car, I lost my job, I lost a girl, those are all problems too, but I didn't feel good about myself. I had low self-esteem. I didn't have any money. All those are problems. But until I handled the main problem and started putting together days of not using drugs, the rest of the problems didn't matter any.
Yeah, like all those other ones seem to be symptoms, right?
Yeah.
They're symptoms of the main root problem.
Yeah.
Right. Until you cut the root and fix that, then you continue to have little fucking problems that seem massive.
Yeah, I could fix the car. I can get another girlfriend.
Right.
I can get the girlfriend back, which probably is just another problem.
It probably is.
Yeah. So number one, like I need to find out what the problem is. First, in California, it's clean up, remove the debris, get it off the ground. Second thing is start rebuilding. Let people rebuild, dude. And then you'll start seeing stuff go up. You'd see my house being fixed right now in real time if they'd let me go over there. And that would give people hope and confidence and momentum and acceleration. Oh, shit, I'm going to build too. Grant's building, I'm going to build. That's how this shit happens, man. Human beings, we need encouragement from examples. You know, that's why your show's so important, because you're offering people examples of what's possible.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Is providing enough stories that people can latch on to and say, hey, where I'm at today doesn't necessarily need to be where I end up, right? And we want to give that hope. We want to give people that, not motivation, but the drive to kind of dive into some discipline and determination and kind of move forward and get out of the shit that they're in, right? That's what it's about.
I was on a phone call yesterday with a guy. He's worth $2.5 billion. You would know his name if I told you his name. You've bought his products before, guarantee you. And he's self-made guy, started with $25,000. And I told him, I said, you know, the only thing I don't like about you more than your net worth, because you're worth double than what I'm worth, is that you started with 6 times more money than I did. He's like, Grant, I only started with $25,000. I said, I started with 3, you know. He's like, well, that's almost 7 times. So, but he was saying years ago, about 8 years ago, he had a 200-foot Fed ship. Big. He built his own boat, his yacht. And at that time in his life, in his 40s, he was not happy. He was just indulgent. Partying, women, you know, the life. He says, Grant, I'm building another boat right now, but next time it's going to be for the new version of me. And to your point, Sean, about like,
love it.
Who are you going to become next? And that's why podcasts like this are important.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like every struggle we go through and every painful point, that's the opportunity to embrace the struggle and kind of go through those daily things, right? And everybody wants to get to that end result. I want more money. I want the relationship. I want everything. Well, what they don't realize is the gift is right here.
Yeah.
In between all the bullshit, right? Because that's when you become that person that's going to deserve this.
Yeah, 100%.
So fucking stop focusing on this and focus on all the little shit in between.
Yeah.
And that's what we do every day.
You do it well.
Right? That's what we do. Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Well, listen, man, I appreciate you coming on. I can't wait to see you in Vegas. We're going to work that out. I'll be in touch with Gila. Once again, I think her and I have already communicated like 2 or 3 times today. She's awesome. And we're going to have a blast there. And dude, I just thank you so much for coming on the show and giving some value to the audience and speaking what you're going through right now and sharing with the world how you're helping people.
Anything I can do to help you. I look forward to you being at the 10X Growth Conference. I know you're going to enjoy it without a doubt. I look forward to getting some feedback from you about what happened to you in those first 10 minutes before it even started. Yeah. Like just look for when you walk in a room, what happens to you? Because my goal is to shift people before the show starts.
Okay. Love it, man. I'll definitely let you know for sure.
Okay.
You know, definitely. But look, man, I just appreciate you. For the audience, please, if you're hearing this, check out GrowthCon. If you can get there, get there. You won't be disappointed. And also go to 10xcalifornia.com. It'll be in the show notes. I want you to see how you can help out Californians rebuild and give back to the cause and help Grant spread the awareness and the word to make California a better place. So until next time, guys, share the show with someone you know, love, and trust that needs to hear the message. And until then, stay determined.